What is going on, guys, and welcome back to the Wrestling Time channel. Now, one of the biggest crossover points with wrestling fans and the larger pop culture has always been video games, and so it's no surprise that wrestling games have been hugely popular ever since the release of 1983's Tag Team Wrestling on arcades, and they've only grown in quality and quantity over the years. But that's enough history for one video there. But whilst we're not here to look at the old, we're in fact here to look at the new. As in fact, over the next 2 years, we can expect to see a flood of new games on the market as the current wrestling war spills out of the ring and onto consoles. Be sure to subscribe to the channel and click that notification bell, because today we're going to look at 6 upcoming video wrestling games in 2019 and 2020. Now just to note, some details may be sketchy, but all of these games have been officially confirmed. Number 1. WWE 2K20. Starting with the biggest one on the market, the 21st installment in the 2K franchise and the first by Visual Concepts sees them take over the baton from previous developer Yukes. Much of the same gameplay and match types that fans have come to expect from the series will be present here, as well as a tweaked control system and an updated roster. This year, the man Becky Lynch will share the cover with Roman Reigns, and this year's 2K showcase revolves around the 4 horsewomen of WWE and a female character mode option, as this year's edition looks like it will reflect the ever-growing women's revolution in WWE. On top of this, there will also be the return of last year's 2K Towers, this time featuring a focus on Roman Reigns, as well as the introduction of the Mixed Match Challenge, allowing players to play mixed gender matches for the first time. And for those willing to shell out a little bit extra, the SmackDown 20th Anniversary Collector's Edition of the game will feature a long overdue inclusion from the 9th Wonder of the World China, as well as the always controversial Hulk Hogan as playable bonus characters. Downloadable content has been confirmed to roll out in 4 packs, each focusing on new unlockable characters, arenas, showcases, and story towers. The first will be entitled Bump in the Night and will focus on Bray Wyatt's alter ego, The Fiend. The game will be released on October 22nd, 2019 for Windows PC, Xbox, and PlayStation 4. It's just a shame we missed out on the chance to hear an Eminem curated playlist, which at one point looked to be happening until talks sadly fell through, but maybe next year. Number 2. Untitled Yukes Wrestling Game. With the 2K series being taken over and Yukes and the WWE parting ways after nearly a 20-year relationship, the door has been left open for a new series from the former 2K developers, and it has been confirmed that they're working on as of yet an untitled game. While Yukes' record with the 2K franchise has had its ups and downs over the years, they are still very well established and experienced when it comes to creating wrestling games, and they could be a major coup for any company who signs with them. Adding to the excitement of fans are comments made by Yukes' senior vice president and producer Hiromi Furuta that he was aware that the projects his company had been undertaking had grown stale over the years and required a refresh, showing that they weren't blind to some of the criticism they had received in recent years and making it apparent that they are going to do more to make sure their next game is something more special for long-time followers. No release date is scheduled for the game just yet, and very little has been confirmed, but it hasn't stopped the rumour mill from running wild, and one of the biggest rumours surrounding the game is number 3, an AEW video game. Yes, it may very well be that Yukes' next series of wrestling games will be none other than WWE's main rivals, AEW. Lots of hints have been dropped by members of the elite over the last few months about the fledgling promotion entering the video game market. That was until we finally got confirmation that a game was in the works from the Young Bucks in an interview with Chris Van Vliet. There have been stories of wrestlers being digitally scanned for use in a game, which suggests that progress is moving fast. It only makes sense that a company looking to compete with WWE would want to branch out into different avenues as quickly as possible, and video games are one of the most lucrative and audience-grabbing out there. Here's hoping that if and when the game finally comes, video game enthusiast Kenny Omega will have some extra consultation on the final product. The Best Bout Machine has been very vocal about the kind of game he would like to have. And speaking at StarCast 3, he told onlookers he had been in contact with various developers and was interested in bringing back something closer to the style of the old N64 No Mercy game, something which would delight as it is considered by many to be the best wrestling game of all time. Number 4. CHIKARA Action Arcade Wrestling. One of the more fun indie wrestling promotions out there right now is the criminally underrated CHIKARA. Featuring inspiration from the world of Lucha Libre, the Philadelphia promotion seems perfectly set up for an arcade-style wrestling game, and that's just what we're going to be getting soon. The game has been funded by an Indiegogo campaign and is currently in the midst of development. What we've seen so far looks like it will harken back to the more arcadey days of wrestling games with a 2-button system similar to the likes of Street Fighter, as well as Borderlands-style cel-shaded graphics with the typical over-the-top action you would expect from the company. It will also include what's being called the Wrestling Factory Creation Suite, allowing fans to create their own image textures, 3D parts such as hair and masks, and much more. Another bonus is that game developers have promised free updates as development continues after release. With any luck, this will bring some more eyeballs to the product, as indies like them need all the help they can get in the increasingly crowded wrestling landscape. The game has already surpassed its crowdsourcing goals, so expect to see it soon, though no release date has been set just yet. What we do know is that it'll be released on Steam, and as of yet, unconfirmed consoles, and should hopefully appeal to both wrestling fans and arcade fighter fans. Number 5. RetroMania Wrestling. Another arcade-style wrestling game on the horizon is RetroMania Wrestling. Just like the title suggests, this will be a very retro-style game featuring superstars from the past such as the Road Warriors and Stevie Richards, as well as present-day superstars like Zack Sabre Jr. and Colt Cabana, just to name a few. The cartoon sprite-style graphics look like a perfect fit for the retro theme and remind us of early Final Fantasy games. It's being touted as the spiritual successor to 1991's WrestleFest from Japanese publisher Techno, and will again feature a simple 2-button beat-em-up style control system similar to CHIKARA's efforts. The usual match types can be expected, with a few extras like cage match and battle royals thrown in too. On release, the publishers plan to have a roster of between 12 and 16, but are open to increasing this number with DLC if fan demand is high enough. And according to Stevie Richards, the game will also feature some sort of story mode. Another selling point of the game is that it will officially tie in with Tommy Dreamer's House of Hardcore promotion, allowing fans to play as him as well as compete for the House of Hardcore title in-game. Other promotions are also expected to be announced as being available in the game. One rumor suggests it may even be Impact Wrestling, which would mark their first foray into the market since 2011's TNA Impact mobile game. Sadly, unlike other titles on the list, there are no current plans for a Creator Wrestler mode, which will disappoint some, but with everything else available, this is only a small issue. It's expected to come out in the first quarter of 2020 and will be released on Xbox One, Steam, and Nintendo Switch. The publishers are also currently working on a PlayStation release, so here's hoping Sony fans will get a chance to experience it too. And number 6, Total Extreme Wrestling 2020. Developers Adam Ryland and Grey Dog Software will be continuing their popular wrestling franchise in 2020, much to the delight of fans. What makes this game stand out from the others is that it falls more into the style of a management sim than a fighting game, effectively allowing you to take on the role of a booker for your own promotion. Fans of other sports sims like Football Manager with even a passing interest in wrestling should love this game, and it will allow you to live out all your booker fantasies in minute detail, from setting up matches to dealing with injuries and unhappy talent, all the way to structuring the layout of your television show and balancing company finances. Definitely a fix for those fans who are waiting for GM mode in WWE 2K20. This time the game has been ripped apart and is being rewritten and upgraded from the ground up so as to remove any niggling issues from previous installments, and suggesting a slightly different experience for fans this time. And a side note for anyone interested in this game, make sure you check out Vince Russo playing an older version of the sim on his YouTube channel, with many a complaint from him as it doesn't go as he wants it to, kinda like his booking from WCW. Well, one thing's for sure, you can always count on Russo for entertainment if nothing else. The game is expected to see the light of day in summer 2020 and will be released only for PC. But there you have it guys, our look at 6 upcoming wrestling games in 2019 and 2020. Be sure to leave your comments down below, subscribe if you haven't already, follow us on Instagram, and I'll see you next time with some more wrestling video game content.